What it do? Welcome to the J-Boy Sports Podcast. Please like, share, and subscribe if you enjoy the content. If you don't love the content, you can still do those things because it doesn't hurt to help a brother out. Lord knows I would help you out. So make sure you do that. Make sure you hit the comment section up so we can have conversations. I will definitely reply because ball is life. Also, you want to make sure you hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our great content. Lastly, hang on towards the end of the video because we have some other suggested videos that we know you'll love. So, real Kobe and Mike fans can't actually be LeBron fans. And this is something that I hear all the time. Why can't you just love everybody, give everybody their flowers, respect everybody? I'm going to be honest with you, I'm sorry. The world doesn't actually work like that. I hate to break it to people, but your worldview should be. Now, granted, there are a lot of people that have different outlooks on life. There's some people that literally let everything go. And for me personally, those aren't my favorite type of people. I don't hate them, but they don't stand for anything. And in my opinion, you either stand for something or you fall for everything. I literally see that all the time. You have to stand for something. And so when it comes to Kobe and Mike fans, they stand for something. They stand for hard work. They stand for truth. They stand for playing as hard as you can, playing as much as you can, and dominating your opponent. Not giving an inch. Not giving them a glimmer of hope. Shutting all that down before it even gets started. That's what happens when you're playing against Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. Now, Jordan is not my favorite player. I don't wake up and think about, man, I can't believe Jordan was this and Jordan was that. I don't. In all honesty, I still wake up sometimes and be like, dang, man, I remember when Kobe did that or Kobe did this. And I'm not obsessed with the man, but he was just my favorite basketball player. That's just how it is. Still respect a lot of the things Jordan did. I respect a lot of things that a lot of players do. However, there are things specifically about today's player that bother me, but it's not every player. So if you've been listening to my channel for long enough, you'll also realize that I'm really a big fan of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Because basically he has that mentality. There's a fight and a will to win inside of him that I really respect. But on the flip side, LeBron James literally stands for the opposite of dang near everything that guys like SGA, like Mike, like Kobe stood for and stand for. It's the opposite. And there's no bigger obvious idea of that than when you look at ring culture. LeBron James, and I've done a couple of different videos on ring culture, so feel free to check any of them out. I'll start with the first one and suggest it at the end of this video. But he had this whole thing about ring culture and how, it's not that big of a deal and it's messed up basketball. And we talk about Allen Iverson and Charles Barkley and don't say how great they were. It's an absolute fabrication and manipulation of the truth. We always praise Allen Iverson and Charles Barkley. If you watch, some of my favorite highlights are of Allen Iverson. But then also, if you look at Charles Barkley highlights, you say to yourself, like, geez Louise, this guy was only like 6'4"? You got to see Charles Barkley highlights to believe what you're watching. He was one of the best players of all time. It's without question. However, there has to be a standard. And that's why you can't actually be a Michael Jordan fan and a Kobe Bryant fan at the same time as a LeBron fan. Standards are completely different. How do I know? I'm not the only person that said this. Listen to what Brian Windhorst said when he and Stephen A. Smith were discussing what LeBron James said about ring culture. He hit the nail right on the head.
You just brought up the name Stephen A. that has really framed this argument as much as Jordan or LeBron, and that's Kobe. And, it's times like these where you so miss Kobe, and I would just say that
yes,
the greatest podcast that we never had was Kobe and LeBron, because the framing of this, you talk about how LeBron has contributed to this, Kobe contributed to this too, because the Kobe mentality the Mamba mentality was championship or bust. And while Jordan and LeBron is the eternal debate, I have, observed and learned that for the modern player, including so many of today's players, LeBron's contemporaries, you're either a Kobe guy or a LeBron guy. And I know that Kobe, if he was on the other side of that table, other than Steve Nash, he would have had some words for LeBron, and they wouldn't have been.
You're damn right.
There wouldn't have been an agreement.
You're damn right.
So I do think that this is also a Kobe-LeBron ideology.
And so that's Stephen A. Smith and Brian Windhorst, but primarily it was Brian Windhorst that said it. And essentially, this is why you cannot be a fan of Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan while also being a fan of LeBron James. They said exactly why that is. Kobe Bryant is one of the most responsible people for hard work. Michael Jordan before him was the example. And Kobe Bryant took that example to another level, to where it became Mamba mentality. That's all you hear people talk about when they talk about playing hard. You heard that Brian Windhorst just said, with a lot of today's players, you're either a Kobe or a Bron guy. And the funny thing is, they try to tell you that that's not the case. They're lying. If you know basketball, and if you want to see the greatest players that you've ever seen play, then you have to be a student of Kobe Bryant. And by extension, probably Michael Jordan. There's just no way you wouldn't study them. There's just no way. If you have that type of game, if your game is on that level. And the thing you have to realize about Kobe Bryant is the hard work, and Michael Jordan. They just worked harder than other people. But even more so than that, the attitude. Killing you was just the cherry on top of the cake. Whatever it took to win that championship is what they were going to do. So for LeBron James to come out and say, oh, ring culture's, what are we doing this for? Rings isn't everything. We're talking bad on Allen Iverson, Charles Barkley. Listen, man. You could call it what you want. You can call him soulless. Michael Jordan is still with us. There's no way you're going to get Michael Jordan to believe that rings don't matter. Him and Kobe were having a conversation at an All-Star game back in like 2002 or something like that. And they're chirping back and forth. And Kobe Bryant is like, come on, Mike, come on. And he's like, listen, I got 6. You only got 3. That tells you right there. And Kobe was like, yeah, you right. So rings matter. LeBron James stands for taking shortcuts, not following through on being the toughest you can be, quitting, shipping yourself to different teams, trying to take advantage of different levels of resources, instead of actually being the baddest person on the planet. And if you ever listen to Man Down Sports, that's another podcast that I listen to. And he says LeBron James cheated us out of actually figuring out who the best player in the world was. And I wholeheartedly agree, and I've said that. When people say it's LeBron's era or LeBron's the best player here of this time period, I disagree. What really proved that he was better than Melo and Wade and Dwight Howard and some of these guys? Now, Dwight didn't have the same length of career, and didn't really win a ring, but, Steph Curry. What did he... All he did was join his friends to win rings and kept doing it. That doesn't make you the best player on the planet. Michael Jordan wasn't joining Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. Charles Barkley Charles Barkley teamed up with Olajuwon and Pippen, but I just listened to a podcast where Cuttino Mobley was like their rookie, I believe. And he was saying, listen, Charles was not putting in the work he needed to be as great as he once was. Scotty was still trying, but he was by himself. And he said, listen, Hakeem was done. His best years were behind him. He was no longer the same player. So, yeah, they teamed up, and that was dumb. But at the end of the day, that's not teaming up at 26 years old. 26, 27, 28, like these guys did. And even if they did back then, it would have been crazy. Michael Jordan would have lost to that. I'm sorry. But we give LeBron James credit for doing, the unthinkable. And you can't support both lines of thinking. LeBron James is going to complain about ring culture. He's going to complain about playing 82 games. He's going to complain about playing defense, back-to-backs. You didn't hear Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant complain about stuff like that. You didn't hear about them taking days off because at the end of the day, they appreciated the fans. You didn't hear them complaining about playing defense. They realized that the idea is to utterly destroy your opponent. In order to do that, you got to play offense and defense equally tough. So this is just another example of why you can't be a supporter of Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan and a fan of LeBron James. It doesn't work. He's soft compared to these two guys. Maybe he's strong compared to some other players, but he's soft compared to Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. There's no comparison. And lastly, like they said, if he was sitting across from Kobe Bryant, first of all, if Kobe was alive, LeBron would never be sitting across from Kobe Bryant saying these things. He would never be sitting across from Kobe, period, in my opinion. Like, there's just no way. Because the way Steve Nash is being a yes man and a groupie for him, Kobe would never, The stuff LeBron is saying on his podcast, Kobe would never go for that. Yeah, ring culture's crazy, and Kobe like, whoa. We're trying to win championships. That's what I was playing. What were you playing for? What were you playing for? And LeBron, he wouldn't be able to answer that on the spot. LeBron don't take no podcasts or interviews where he can't control the narrative. You kidding me? Rich Paul would never allow that. Never. And you know dang well, there is no way for you to check Kobe Bryant. Again, Kobe is past and it sucks, I tell you. But I've said this before and I'm going to say it again. One of the only people in the planet alive, who's not alive anymore, but that could have checked LeBron James was Kobe Bryant. He can't approach Kobe like he approached and approaches most other people. You can't do that to Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. You just can't. You just can't. You can't walk on all over them like you walk on everybody else. You're not too big and important in front of them like you are to everybody else. They're bigger than you. They're more important than you are. So, he wouldn't have been able to pull that crap on Kobe Bryant. And shout out to Brian Windhorst for keeping it real, and Stephen A. Smith. But here's the problem. You two know that, and you still put LeBron over him. That's where I don't get it. That's what, slowly though, more people are starting to give Kobe Bryant his props because they realize people are turning on them when they go against him. There is a Kobe army, and I'm a part of it. And we're out here, and we're ready just like he was ready. You say something stupid, we're going to check you. So that's it for this video. We're going to leave it right there. Thank you for listening. I really appreciate it. If you listen this long, please make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Make sure that you comment, because I love to have conversations with people in the comment section. Ball is life. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos. Also, hang on towards the end because we have some suggested videos that we know you will love. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. Very humble. Much love. That somehow you'll never get over leaving me, and when you feel like coming back.